Daily Devotionals with open hearts and open minds. First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado presents Hope and Coffee with Pastor Hugo Venegas.
Hi, welcome back to another week of Hope and Coffee. I hope you had, those of you in the U.S., I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. And for those of you who watch us from other countries, we just hope you had a great weekend. A shout out to those who are in the UK, those who are in Holland, those who are watching us in Costa Rica, Panama, and Guatemala. God bless you. We're going to deal with another phase of hope that we have been studying from Genesis chapter 6 all the way through chapter 12. And we're going to close out this week Genesis chapter 9, and we're looking back at Noah. And I want us to look at a little bit of what happened after Noah woke up. Remember, he was drunk. We talked last week about the phase of covering love, that when we love others, the Bible says that a multitude of sins are covered by love. So we're going to look at another phase of hope, and I want us to look at verses 24 and 25 of Genesis chapter 9. And it says, "When Noah woke up from his wine and found out that his youngest son had done to him, he said, 'Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will be to his brothers.'" Now, why would a father want to curse a son? I mean, he must have done something really severe. I have been alluding for the last couple weeks that Ham made fun of his father. But some commentators think that it was worse than that. And therefore, this brings us to the phase of anger. We're going to talk about anger the whole week, and that may be a hard one for some of you to assimilate. How is anger hopeful? Well, anger is hopeful in the sense that it is a warning mechanism that we have in the dashboard of our emotional lives and our spiritual lives. You know, the modern cars, that they are so computerized that whenever something is going amiss in the car, a light on the dashboard pops up. I remember a friend of mine who told me several years ago that she blew up an engine of her car. And I looked at her and I said, "But your car is fairly new." She goes, "Yeah, but I blew up the engine." And I'm like, "How do you blow up the engine of a new car?" And she said, "Well, there was a light that was on and it was an orange and I just disregarded it. And the oil change light had gone on and she kept ignoring it, until one day her engine blew up. Brand new car. Didn't even have more than 10,000 miles in it, and she blew the engine up because she disregarded that dashboard light. It's the same for us. So anger tells us that something deeper is going on. It's a warning signal. And when it comes to Noah, he wakes up of his drunkenness, finds out what his youngest son, Ham, has done, and he curses him. So some commentators said that what Ham did to Noah was not just make fun of him. They say that two things they say seriously happened. He dishonored his father. And some commentators, some biblical scholars, go to the extent that said that what Ham did, he did something sexually devious to his father. And there's biblical evidence for that because the descendants of Ham are the Canaanites. And we know in the Old Testament, God is always warning Israel against the practices of the Canaanites who mixed sexual deviance into their worship practices. And we also know that the descendants of Ham were associated with those inhabitants who lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. So something sexually deviant was done to Noah. And exactly what that was, we don't know. There is speculation, but it brought the anger to Noah. Now, when anger, when we look at anger as a hope signal, we have to understand that anger is usually the result of when something serious has gone wrong. And I have here some notes here that say that anger is an emotional and spiritual warning system. That when we get angry, when we get mad, it's a warning that something went amiss. And there are toxic ways that we deal with anger. And I know that this is a hard topic because we repress our own anger. There are people that turn their anger inward because they don't feel that it's comfortable to express it. Some people explode. They never deal with their anger. They just burst out, and all we have is a reaction, but they're not dealing with the violation that has happened on the inside. And then we see that another toxic way that we deal with anger is to socialize it away. And this happens with our parents when they say, you shouldn't be angry. It's bad to be angry. Or when religion tells us that we all have to be peaceful and we shouldn't be mad. Or society that tends to quiet us. Society that can't deal with people being angry in our culture, so they repress that anger or they shut it down. And usually they use violence to shut down angry people. So I want you to know, I'm going to leave you with this and then we'll resume back tomorrow, that when we acknowledge our anger, it's a healthy emotional and spiritual process. And we normally get angry because something special, something sacred has been violated in our hearts. So I'm going to invite you this week as we peruse the subject of anger, because anger is a psychological and a spiritual mechanism. It's a warning system that tells us that something is not right and we need to look under the hood of our emotional and spiritual lives. This is Hugo Venegas from Pueblo, Colorado. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us for our daily devotional, Hope and Coffee, with Pastor Hugo Venegas. If you enjoyed today's devotion, like or subscribe below. We also welcome you to join our family at First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado. You can visit our website at firstumcpueblo.org, and we hope you continue to have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow.